3, 2, 1, and now we are live.
All
How's
right.
it going, guys?
Let's say it like this.
Good, good. Good to see you guys again.
Yeah, man, and
Yeah.
you. Yeah, you missed the last one. You missed it.
Oh, that's
Uh,
right. That's right. The,
Je-
the broken boiler. That's right.
I think
Listen,
that
man, the street lights get on, I get tired, man. But yeah, man, I had no hot water, dude. It's horrible, man. Cold
I,
showers for a week is miserable.
last
So what we do?
time.
So it was
So
like prison style. I just got the whole shot at you, and that was it.
last time, last time we came on, obviously, and we spoke. Obviously, I made the blunder. Called you Paulie D instead of Paulie G.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
A
okay, man.
classic MA panel moment. That will go down in the annals of time.
Man, it still cracks me up today. I had to edit it out, edit it and put it up because it just fucking, oh, it's funny. And you're like, G, you got someone else up in here, buddy?
I don't know, buddy. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
So, how have you guys been keeping, anyways?
Good, man. I've been staying busy. Got lots of cool stuff going on. Of course, working with Jordan is my number one guy. And this guy is going to rock the house tomorrow night here in Bellator. We're out in California, Temecula, so that's been going on. Jason knows I've been working on the first ever the international mixed martial arts ranking system.
Mhm.
Doing that with a guy Roger Crawl and David Zitnick, a couple of OGs in the game, putting together a system so we can actually have belts.
Paulie, you gone quiet?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
Oh,
there we
you
go. Yeah.
Oh shit! Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, now-
sure. I think it's your cable.
Oh boy.
This happened last time with me and Paulie too.
Dude, I got a new thing, man. This is a new thing.
Yeah. All right, keep on going.
Yeah.
Where we leave? What did you hear me say last?
I'm talking about the fight rankings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not fire. It's belt rankings. So belt rankings, international mixed martial arts ranking system. So we actually belts in mixed martial arts, which we have not right now. So I went up to the fighter and said, "Hey, what belt are you?" They'll say, "Well, I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu or something like that, or purple belt."
This is cracking me up.
Yeah,
Your cables, or your audio's shit, man.
well, hold
keeps-
on.
keeps
Let me try to
cutting
get
out.
another head. Hold on.
Yeah, man.
Hold on.
We're having technical difficulties.
Oh, hey, is that better?
Oh yeah. Apart from
It's
I can
better
hear
on the
myself
headset?
echoing.
All right, we'll just go from there.
Okay, man. Hopefully it won't be too annoying. You can hear me on repeat. Can you? How about can you turn your audio down a little bit on your laptop, and then hopefully it won't pick up my voice.
All right.
Like, because obviously where I'm coming through your speakers, it's coming through twice.
How's that?
Hello. Yeah, perfect.
Is that any better?
Yeah, perfect. We got you now, man. We got you. Woo.
All right.
Let's start
It's always
again.
an issue.
And we are live after being on for 3 minutes and 41 seconds. I tell you what, let's go straight into it. So obviously UFC 226, exciting card, super excited for me. Prelims, I'm not really too fussed about, and the first fight, as much as they're both good quality fighters, I haven't really got much to say, and I don't think you guys are going to have too much either. Jason, do you have anything to say about sort of the first fight on the card, or are you happy to go on?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I know there's a lot of hype around Saki and the kickboxing background, stuff like that. I was looking at the stats earlier because I'm a little familiar with it. I saw his first fight, and Roundtree's pretty good. I think he was on the Ultimate Fighter and maybe like lost in the final or something like that. But I mean, for Saki, a guy who's a striker, a good chin. I mean, he wasn't great in that first fight. He won. He got the knockout, but I was looking at Roundtree stats. I'm like, okay, maybe taking him down is going to be the clear path to beat him. And Roundtree statistics, at least on the UFC website, don't really show a guy that's going for a lot of takedowns. Like his takedown accuracy is 0, takedown average is 0. So if he's willing to stand with Saki, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's a great idea, but that's probably what's going to happen. But crazy things happen. But I mean, if I had to make a quick pick, I'd probably, just because of the chin and the skills, I'd say Saki. But crazy things happen.
Oh man, you're not even back in your United States, boy. Traitor. What about you, Paulie? Have you got anything to add in about these two guys, or?
No, I'll be honest with you, man. I didn't do my homework on these guys, so I'll be interested to sit back as a fan and see what happens.
Yeah, man, cool. All right, then. Well, we'll skip straight into. We've got Michael. I can never pronounce his surname, and Anthony
Chiesa.
Pettis. Bang.
Chiesa.
There we go. The guy that got attacked with the dolly.
Yep.
So obviously big fight. Paulie, what do you think's going down there?
Well, so I did a little homework on this guy. I've seen him fight before. Tall guy, southpaw. Looks like his ground is pretty good. I noticed when he fought a higher level striker, actually a guy's not that high level striker, but somebody that was throwing some big bombs. I forget the guy's name. Dariush.
Oh, yeah.
Dariush, yeah. He was taking a lot of big right hands from this guy, and Anthony Pettis is an OG. I mean, this guy's fought, the who's who: Holloway, Henderson, Cerrone, Stevens, Barboza, Melendez, Dos Anjos, Poirier. He's fought a lot of guys. He's been in the game for over a decade now. So I just can't help but think this is like they're throwing Pettis a bone here. But I think, how do you pronounce his name? Kisia? I can't get it right either. Chiesa. Yeah, I got to think Chiesa. Chiesa. I mean, this guy's got a legit ground game, so he's going to want to get it to the ground. Pettis is going to want to use some of his, his masterful striking. I think, my question for Pettis is how long he's been in the game for a while. How hungry is he, right? Is he willing to put himself to camp? Is he willing to take the punishment? But I'm going to put my money on Pettis.
Yeah, I mean, I swear every UFC fight companion we've done so far, or predictions, Anthony Pettis has been on them.
I think he was on the last one. I think the last one we did, it was this fight, and it got taken off the card.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because of what happened with the bus thing. Yeah, I mean, I was watching, just kind of random on a tangent, but still about it's more about Michael. Is he is like obviously been taking this fight, which means he can't like sue Conor McGregor or something like that. Joey Diaz was saying because the UFC for his fight. So some strange things there. Don't know how true it is, but I think I'd be backing Anthony Pettis as well. Just think I always seem to write him off every time we talk about him. I always don't feel like he's going to win, and he liked one of my photos on Instagram, so he's got my vote. I'm backing him, But yeah, he's obviously more experienced, but whether the hunger's still there, we're obviously going to find out. And I think, I don't know, we'll just see. We'll see. Jason, you'll go.
Well, the reason why I remember this fight is because when we did the picks, I picked Pettis, and he followed me on Instagram, and he's still following me to this day, even though there were some doubters. But I'm gonna pick him for the same reason. Chiesa's tough. His ground game is good. His takedowns are solid. And the thing is with Pettis, I mean, he can be taken down. His UFC debut against Clay Guida, I'll never forget. He got taken down, just held there. And what's crazy about him is he's good on the ground. He can throw up submissions, but like getting back to his feet can be a problem sometimes. So Chiesa can get him down. Chiesa's got a gas tank. He's tough. It's an interesting fight, more so than I thought it was, back then. I still think Pettis will win. I think he's the better striker. Chiesa's just not on the level of striker. If he could keep his stand-in, I don't see how he could lose, but I think Paulie nailed it. What's his hunger level? I mean, I feel like he should still be hungry. He's not an older guy. I mean, he started in the game pretty early, but he's been to the top. He's fallen back. What is the level? Is he got a family, wife? Is he thinking about other things? Is he planning other things? His brother's getting a lot of notice now. So this is an interesting fight. If he goes and dominates and wins, then maybe the fire's there. Maybe he comes back up at lightweight. But if he somehow lost, you have to start wondering. And it's perfect, too, because Johnny Hendricks just retired yesterday. And that was a perfect example. A guy became champion and then automatically fell off quickly soon after. And that was within a 3 or so year period. So, I mean, Pettis might be a certain version of that if he can get his together and win this fight. But I think he'll win. I think he'll win by decision.
Yeah, you never know, man. It depends on what guys' reinforcers are. If
if you're in it just for the money, you're gonna make the money, and you don't want to get in there and do that grind. You know, if you're in it to make like a legacy for yourself, be the best, and when you get in there every day, you're sparring with the guys, you're putting yourself through hell. You know, it keeps you sharp. You know, so at some point, and everybody wants to make the money. You know, nothing wrong with that, man. You want to make money, but it's the guys that really want to be the best and sustain that position. You know, you'll put your body through it in those cases. So we'll see what does that with.
Yeah, I mean, Michael's win submission ratio is obviously significantly higher as well than Anthony Pettis's. So if it does go to the ground, you know, potentially that could hold Steve because he has got a good gas tank. So if Anthony hasn't been putting in the work, hasn't really been that hungry, we might see him sort of flake out or fatigue and end up just having to tap, you know. So interesting fight, definitely. I mean, I think the UFC 226, I think UFC have had like a couple of flops with the pay-per-views over the last couple of shows. Maybe I'm wrong, and I think this card's probably going to sell quite well. If you agree,
Exciting card.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to see because it was funny. The last one, I remember there was the reports about LA Times coming out. There was 150,000 buys. It wasn't that bad. It was ended up at 250,000 buys, but that's still not a big number considering I think on the last card had like Holly Holm and a good main event, a good co-main event. So it's a weird thing. I'm fascinated on what the buys are for this because it's got a historic fight, a co-main event that arguably two of the best fighters on the planet. And if it doesn't do well, it says a lot about where the UFC is at. The business is not in trouble. The UFC is not in trouble, but there's so much content now that, you know, I think the days of a million pay-per-view buys is just limited to Conor McGregor and the next star. Like, there's so much content now at Bellator on free TV. You know, I'm really interested how many buys this does because previously Dan Cormier hasn't had a lot of big buy pay-per-views, so this is a big one for a lot of those guys.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, man. Like, I think the UFC is kind of craving that big star to sort of come along again because Conor McGregor's kind of in and out. I mean, there's rumours that he's fighting in September against Khabib.
Yeah.
Whether that happens or not, we don't know. I mean, we know what Paulie's opinion is of that fight. With Conor McGregor is going to get flattened by Khabib, and yeah, I could probably see that happening too. So maybe interesting there, but I think the UFC.
Did you see what the manager Ali Abdel Aziz said? He said there was a story yesterday about him saying Conor's coming back because he's already blown through his money. So if that's true, he's definitely coming back. And so, and if it's true, my lord,
Crazy.
how the hell does that happen so fast? Holy.
There's a lot of fighters, man. You know, they're not. A lot of these guys aren't business guys. You know, they think it's going to be endless money. Happens with like movie stars too, or singers. You know, musicians. They make a bunch of money and they don't. You know, they live like they're going to keep having that level of money. And fighters are shooting stars. You know, like they got to take their money. I'd like to see, you know, like Brad Pickett, Mike Brown. You know, these guys were smart with their money. They took their initial money. Actually, Jordan Young, right here with me, took their initial money and bought a house with it. Right. So take your money, invest into something, get that part of your life stable, you know. Make a few investments, know that you can't fight forever, and you are, as a fighter, you're a shooting star, man. You'll be very bright in the sky, but then there's a rapid, you know, diminishing, you know, attention and money.
Basically, don't go partying in Ibiza and sniffing loads of cocaine and going to UFC events and jumping in the ring and pushing referees, you know. So we've obviously got the next event, which is Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis. Two heavyweights, I think, unless I'm wrong. Oh God, that would be.
Yes, they're quite huge, so they're definitely heavyweights.
Yeah, he's welterweight, you know. And obviously, Francis Ngannou's coming off his loss to Stipe. I think he hasn't fought since. So how he recovers from that, we're obviously going to see. Who went in first on the last one?
I think I went in first, but I don't mind going again. Right, go ahead, Jason.
This fight, for as great as the first two fights are, and they're fantastic, like I mentioned, this fight fascinates me in a lot of ways because I mean, I'll be the first guy to say I kind of think the hype on Derek Lewis is a little overblown. I mean, he's had some weird performances, like Travis Brown hurt him, and then he came back and won. I thought Roy Nelson beat him, but he came back and won, even his last fight. I mean, but the weird thing is he's freaking huge. He's like cutting to 265. He looks like kind of like he's fat and out of shape, but he's actually a freak athlete. Francis Ngannou's kind of the flip side of that, where he's muscular, super strong, also a freak athlete. Neither has good cardio. This fight can't go to the third round, but insane things happen in MMA, so it probably will go to a decision because of that. But it's really interesting. The numbers on the strikes per landed per round. Neither's going to really grapple. Both of them are still relatively early in their career, so it's not they got a wealth of knowledge and a lot of experience. I don't know if either guy's really a high fight IQ where they come with plan B, plan C's in the ring. They just kind of wing it and just use athleticism. So it's actually a great fight in terms of two good athletes, two huge human beings. And how does Ngannou come back from that fight with Stipe? I mean, Stipe showed a lot of holes, and you just wear him down, you rest him a little bit, and he couldn't deal with it. He looked gassed bad early. Same thing has happened to Derek Lewis. So how does each guy approach it? I mean, my gut, even though I think the hype is really kind of blown, I'm going to say Derek Lewis. I just think he's a little tougher. I think if it had to be a grinding fight, he has the power to deal with the strikes, though he has been finished. I'm going to say something crazy. I'm going to say Ngannou. I mean, Derek Lewis catches him, knocks him out in the second round. We get a surprising, finish, and that further pushes Derek Lewis to a title shot of his own.
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. It's weird, isn't it, that Francis Ngannou can gas so hard when he's got a physique like that, and you've got Derek
well, that's
Lewis,
part of the reason. Is so much muscle. I mean, that's part of the reason why he's so much muscle trying to feed that energy, and that's just how it is for guys that are overly muscular like that sometimes.
That explains Paulie's problem trying to get up the stairs. Chiseled. So, damn, these stairs are killing me. This goddamn body.
That's right.
This fucking
That's right.
body's gonna be the end of me. I need to eat some fucking donuts. Get some energy.
I like how Paulie sounds like a movie villain. I never thought Paulie sounded like that, but all right, movie villain, okay.
You love my accents, man.
It's the hat. The hats change your impression of you. You look like a villain now.
So, Paulie, man, what's your take on the fight?
So, this is a very exciting matchup. It's very interesting, rather, because you got two guys who can bang, you got two guys who are just really going to try to knock each other out. It's interesting that Jason's saying there's a lot of hype behind Derek Lewis. I think, really Ngannou is the hype train, right?
That's true.
Derek Lewis has actually had twice as, I think he said twice as, been in the game twice as long as Ngannou. I think he's trained like 8 years. He actually Lewis trained under George Foreman a little bit. Info. I'm not sure if you knew that. Initially, he was going to do some boxing. Then he moved over to MMA. I think that I actually am landing. I was going with Lewis first because I feel he's a little bit more relaxed. And to both your guys' point, I think when you have too much muscle in this game, it fatigues you quicker. It takes too much oxygen. If you know, some of the greatest strikers that have ever been haven't been overly muscled in their upper body. Talking about like pure boxing, because it sucks your energy. That being said, Ngannou went against Stipe, and that guy's a great fighter, man. He's a great boxer. He's a G. He knows how to use great lateral movement. I mean, he did. He's fought the who's who. You all remember the knockout with Ngannou with the overhand, the uppercut that was. Heard across the world. That was the most amazing, knockout I've ever seen. Here's what I think. I think that Ngannou seems to be, even though he's still, relatively young in the game, to me, he's a master of his distance. More than just his big punch, he really is using good footwork. His hand positions are in a good place, and he's throwing long punches, right? Whereas Derek Lewis seems to be getting more of his guys like off the clinch and a quick scramble, throwing some punches in there. I'm going to lean towards a Ngannou. I'm going to lean towards him with the knockout. But I think, if I was going to give a doctor's prescription, which I'm going to, Derek Lewis, if he wants to win, I would pressure Ngannou against the fence, like wear him up, make him use some of that muscle, dirty box him there. Look for the opportunity to put him on the ground. And, he's got Lewis has got some vicious ground and pound. So if he can kind of wear Ngannou out a little bit down there, maybe he's got a shot. But I'm going to put my money on Ngannou.
No, man, I agree. I agree with you, Paulie. I think Francis Ngannou, if he fights smart, sort of stays away, keeps his distance, uses his arms and punches well, I think, and also I think his timing's quite good, like you said, with the Alistair Overeem KO. Obviously, if Derek Lewis does try and rush him a little bit, those hands could easily be sending some bombs, and you could be picking Derek Lewis's head off of the roof somewhere. Do you know what I mean? It's just gone.
Yeah.
But Derek Lewis has got to get in close and clinch up and try to execute some of that dirty stuff and kind of hit him on the way out and ruffle him up a bit and try and get him to burn some energy. So I agree with you. I'm going to have to go with Francis Ngannou. So yeah, I'm 2-1 on that bad boy.
Who's keeping track? Jason, you keeping the data?
I remember it here.
Yeah.
I remember if I'm right. If I don't.
Yeah, I don't want you to have some revisionist history, right? And all of a sudden we got to go back and pull this tape up just to make sure you're not trying to pull a fast one. You New York guys, man. You're always trying to hustle.
I've stopped questioning Jason, to be honest, after his 2 Rose versus Joanna predictions, and he was right both times. So
props for that.
Yeah, definitely props for that.
I'm sure Phil wasn't happy with that, but
what's he gonna do? Fly over there and kick your ass? Please. Just a quick question, sort of off the topic of the main card. What was your take on the Mike Jackson CM Punk fight? Because obviously Dana come out pretty hard about it, and obviously I had Mike Jackson on before you.
Saw that.
And he was kind of saying his take on it and why sort of he wanted to finish CM Punk in the first round, but then he didn't want to gas, and he kind of didn't also want to be the guy that may have lost to CM Punk, and then he just fucked around with him a little bit and kind of wanted to show him that he shouldn't be in there, he's not at that level, blah blah blah. And then obviously Dana White comes out and calls him a fucking idiot, and said he should have finished him earlier. Do you have any sort of input on that yourselves?
Man, that's a circus show to me. I don't think CM Punk should be fighting in the UFC. Props to him for putting himself in position so you get such a big fight. But the UFC is supposed to be like the NBA or the NFL or the NHL of mixed martial arts. And when you do stuff like that, it's like a sideshow act. And I enjoy sideshow acts sometimes, but like to me that was like for another show, Maybe like Pride. I used to watch Pride. I used to love seeing these big juice guys throw down or seeing what might happen. But I think UFC should have some more integrity. They're supposed to be the sport, and having fights like that on there, I don't. The whole thing is just crazy. I don't. Yeah.
No, I agree with you, man. I mean, that's where I think now you're seeing the UFC kind of move more into like a business rather than a sport. Like, let's get CM Punk on pay-per-view against this guy, like it's gonna hopefully bring some more buyers in, we need the money, blah blah blah, let's just try and sell it. And rather than these are the 2 best fighters, it doesn't matter about names, they should be on the pay-per-view, they should be getting paid. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of a bit of a shit on some of the fighters, I think. But,
yeah, we all know why they did it, and they invested a lot in him. I think I saw the salaries like $500,000 or something like that he made, and it paid off in the first fight. A lot of people watched and had good buys for the first fight, but when everybody knew what the merchandise really was, he was on that last card that didn't do well as expected, and and that was a big hubbub, him being on the main card, other people not, and the card didn't do well, so they didn't even get their investment's worth in the second fight. And plus, we all saw, and this is coming from a guy that's like one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, CM Punk. I wanted him to do well, but it was a joke. It was bad. I mean, this guy did like stuff you see in like white belt jiu-jitsu class. Like my man tried to throw up a guillotine from like standing position. It was like, what are you doing? That's what you do when you're homeboys. You wrestle on the couch or something like that. Like,
I'd come out of retirement and fight that guy right now tomorrow.
And you whoop his ass. It'd be bad. It wouldn't be fair.
I believe I would.
And that's and all due respect to him, he showed a lot of toughness, like that ability. We just saw a half naked man walk by, but that ability to
Good looking half naked
That
man as
excites you?
well.
maybe. Like the ability to look tough. He still went forward. A lot of Brock Lesnar isn't a guy that like going forward, and he was a world champion. He still went forward, took the shots. He showed toughness, and I give him credit for that.
Yeah.
But
Oh, dude, it's nothing against CM Punk, man. I'm not like this and that guy. It's more like the UFC for promoting that
yeah,
kind of thing. Like
yep,
CM Punk, mad props to him. He put himself in a position where he could fight for the UFC. That's a dream come true for a lot of fighters. But I look at guys like my guy Jamie Alvarez, man. This guy's busting his butt to make it, and there's like other
yep,
people with don't have near as many fights, haven't been in the game so long, aren't getting that shot. I think you should be earning your shot. And I know it is it's a show. But I think there's got to be that good balance of like you deserve to be there because you have the skills, right? The knowledge and the skills, you put your time in, and also you do want to put fans in the seat, but you need both, right?
yeah. I
No,
mean,
that's
what
for
Mike
sure.
Jackson said, I mean, I get what he's saying, but I'm going to have to call BS a little bit on that. Like, the thinking is, oh, well, he didn't finish him because he didn't want to be the guy that lost him. Well, finish him, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it. If you're going, the longer you go, crazy things happen. Maybe
Mm.
he gets an injury. Maybe he tears an ACL. All of a sudden, you give this guy CM Punk a chance. Like, I don't know. I think, that just shows his, like, level of immaturity, not as a person but as a fighter. He's an amateur nearly too. I mean, he's only in his second fight, so some more experience he would have finished him, got him out in the first round, just like Mickey Gall did, and that would have been the end of it. But him going on, and I watched the first 2 rounds. I didn't even want to watch the third round. I didn't even watch it because it was just such a mess. So the fact that that excuse, I don't know. I think he's just it didn't go the way he wanted. He didn't finish him, so the fact that it went longer, he just played it too safe, and it just became a shit show. And then it wasn't well reviewed on Twitter and stuff like that. But
Of course not.
never again for either of them, probably now.
Well, back to the main card now. We've got that out of
Mhm.
systems. One fight that's looking very exciting and very juicy. It's actually moistening my palate right now.
Oh, wow.
Is Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega. And yes, I did pronounce both their names properly for once. And baba. And yeah, I think featherweight title belt. Fuck me, like what a fight, to be this could be a main event on its own.
Mhm.
And I feel sorry for Max because obviously he was he was gonna fight Khabib Bonnie, and then he couldn't fucking make the weight and all that shit, and now he's finally kind of got this to make some money from. And yeah, Paulie, far away. What's your take?
Man, this is an exciting fight. I mean, this kid Brian Ortega, he just keeps impressing me again and again and again. I mean, he looks so seasoned. He's a young guy. I mean, he's 14-0, and just very relaxed. He's notable when beat Frankie Edgar, he beat Swanson, Clay Guida. I mean, these guys are all OGs in the sport, man. And this guy, his jiu-jitsu is amazing. He clearly has high self-efficacy, right? His belief in himself, he really believes in himself, and that's the big thing especially for somebody this young. He's so well composed. He actually is very good at fighting off his back foot. He can punch, strike, moving backwards. He just man, it's incredible that he's even getting this shot now, being such a young guy. But it's exciting. But now let's look at Max Holloway. I mean, this guy is just an OG. This guy really has fought the who's who in the sport. Aldo twice, Pettis, Steven Swanson. I mean, his losses were to McGregor, Bermudez. Bermudez is an amazing fighter, and of course Dustin Poirier. So what you have with Max Holloway is you have somebody that is an excellent striker. He's 5'11". He's got 70, 71-inch reach. Even though Ortega uses jab very well, Max Holloway uses like all his strikes, right? He uses like long range leg kicks to set up his punches, and he uses punches to set up his leg kicks. So I think you're going to see Holloway really mixing up his arsenal. I think you're going to see him finishing with a lot of leg kicks, and that's going to pose a problem for Ortega. I think he might be just a little bit out of his head or over his head at this point in his career. Here's the doctor's prescription. If I were him, I would draw Holloway forward. Try to like use Holloway's momentum to score a takedown. I think really if he's going to beat Holloway, his victory really lays on getting Holloway to the ground, some legit MMA.
I like this doctor's prescription thing. Like we need like a sound effect, like a bottle of pills shaking, like smack sound. Like I like it. Um, this fight is amazing. It like last year's fight to me, like Dillashaw Garbrandt last year was one of the main fights with two of the best fighters in the world getting a fight. This is like to me this year's Dillashaw and Garbrandt. And what's crazy, you got a dude that's never lost against a dude that hasn't lost in 4 years, and the last guy he lost to was McGregor. I mean, and also like looking at their previous opponents and stuff, they fought very good fighters, but they never fought someone like each other. Like looking at Max Holloway's resume, he hasn't fought a guy who's, while a very good striker, his primary base is grappling. He wants to get you down great submission. He hasn't fought anybody on that level. He's fought a lot of great strikers, Aldo, Jeremy Stevens. He's fought those guys, but that fascinates me. He's got good takedown defense statistically, but he's going against guys that really don't use it and aren't great at it. So how does that show against a guy who's very good in it and it can even submit you even if you're grappling and stand up? Then you have a guy in Ortega who hasn't fought a lot of anywhere near the level of fantastic striker. No disrespect to Frank Edgar. Frankie Edgar is a great striker, but he's more about trickery, movement, but he doesn't have power. Like Max Holloway has, just like Paulie said, a wealth of an arsenal that can come in any direction, and he's got put you to bed power. So, which thing wins out? This guy's power and his great striking, and can he, keep the stuff to takedowns, or Ortega's just world class, some of the best grappling on the planet? I think Paulie nailed it. I just think Ortega, he's taken a step up just a little quicker than he is. Maybe he proves us wrong. He has the skills to prove us wrong, but I feel like Max Holloway will get it. It'll be a real good fight. I think he'll end up stopping Ortega like in the fourth, but it'll be a very good fight. And I think Ortega will be champion one day, just not yet. Maybe in a year or two, maybe when Holloway gets a little older, slows down a little bit, and I'm going to go with Max Holloway, fourth round TKO finish.
The best is blessed. Nah, I think is that like with Max Holloway is he seems to just be getting better. Like every fight, do you know what I mean? Like he just seems to look a little bit more classy. The way he sort of fights in there, he just looks a little bit more composed. And obviously that comes with experience. Maybe you don't feel the nerves as much or whatever, and you've been training a lot more, so you're perfecting the things that maybe you weren't so good at. And I have to agree with you guys. I think Brian Ortega, maybe he's a world class guy, but maybe it's just that jump too soon, too early, when maybe he needs just a couple more fights beforehand. Maybe he needs to just perfect his skills a little bit more before he sort of steps in there with the champion. But saying that, Brian Ortega's exciting, and he's just got this like he'll do some unexpected shit, and you just think, oh shit, where the fuck did that come from? And sometimes with fighters, when all the pressure's on you, maybe you shouldn't be in there. That's when you blossom and you kind of, prove, hey, I'm the big dog now, respect me. You could see Brian Ortega knock Max Holloway out within the first 30 seconds, stiff right hand to the jaw, bang, done, KO, UFC goes mad, Max Holloway's on the floor, you're like, fuck, what's going on? But yeah, overall my pick, realistically, would have to be Max Holloway. I just think he's the more seasoned fighter, obviously, and I just think his skill set's maybe a little bit more perfected than Brian Ortega. Bang. That's the one fight I knew a little bit of shit about. So, on to the heavyweight title fight, main event. Obviously, we've got Daniel Cormier. He was the light heavyweight dude.
Champion.
Champion.
Yes.
Because John Jones obviously was taking the magic powder. And we've got Stipe, who is just Stipe, just tough bastard, got some good game. And this fight I really can't call, so I'm not even going to weigh in on having much of an opinion on it. I can't call. It's very close to me, very close. And one thing I have to say though is I like that these guys aren't smack talking each other, you know, fucking calling each other loads of shit. They're just being themselves, being respectful. They're getting in there, and they're just gonna. I think they're gonna put on an awesome fight. But over to you guys.
I'll take this one first. I'll go first on this. But now I have to preface this. Even though I'm trying to be a journalist here, trying to be unbiased, Daniel Cormier is my favorite fighter of all time. Like, it used to be George St. Pierre, Dan Henderson, those were my guys. But Daniel Cormier has become my favorite guy. And what he's doing, I know there's this whole thing with John Joe saying, oh, you know, he can't talk about being the greatest of all time. He doesn't beat me. And that's all fair. You know, a lot of great fighters have lost great fights and lost to people, and they're still in that conversation. You know, this is a historic thing for what he can do. If he can win two championships at the same time, double division champion in the glamour division in most combat sports, heavyweight, it's a big thing. And what's crazy about it is when this happened, like when Roy Jones went up and fought Ruiz back in the day, it was like a wild fight. It was a perfectly matched fight. Roy Jones is too fast. He took that one fight. It was the right opponent. Won the fight, went back down. He didn't stay there or anything like that. This guy has history in the division, undefeated in the division, beat guys like Frank Mir, Josh Barnett, very large men, very talented men, great fighters. But they're not Stipe Miocic. Stipe Miocic, that dude doesn't get any credit for how good he is. This guy will go down possibly as the best heavyweight all time. I'm sorry, Cain Velasquez, you know, Randy Couture, they're up there. But this guy has the record for the defenses. He's beaten everybody that's come his way. He doesn't pick any fights. He's fought anybody that's in front of him. It's a tough one because this guy doesn't get the respect, and he's right there. I want to pick Daniel Cormier, but I'm probably going to pick Stipe. The only reason why is the test is going to be the wrestling. Can Daniel get him down and dominate? And it's very possible. This dude in Strikeforce picked up Josh Barnett and flipped him upside down. Josh Barnett, who's one of the best grapplers in heavyweight division, so he can probably get Stipe down. Can he keep him down? Is another thing. You know, how if the added weight on his body, how does that affect his cardio? Because Daniel could be so cardio-wise. Now he might be a little heavier. I don't know. It might be better for him, possibly. He's not draining himself at all, so that's the factor in. I just worry about, can he take that shot? Stipe doesn't have the technical striking of Anthony Johnson, Anderson Silva, maybe not even Volkan Ozdemir, but he's a heavyweight bomber. All he needs is one shot. He's knocked out heavyweights. And I just worry. Daniel's been hit lately. Anthony Johnson dropped him. Volkan Ozdemir got him wobbly, got hurt against John Jones and finished. He's been getting hurt lately. And not to say that he doesn't have a good chin. He does. It's different when you're getting hit by one of the better strikers who's tough, who can take him. You know, whatever Daniel does, he's going to be able to take it. It's just go a little bit about the wrestling. You know, JB, I agree, is super close. I'm going to pick Stipe just because of that size thing. As they say, the good big man beats the good small man. Daniel Cormier is not your regular small man. I'm hoping I'm wrong. Gonna go with Stipe. I say he'll finish him in the third round. He'll get a TKO. He'll rock him with a shot. He'll be losing the fight. He'll get him with that one shot, and Daniel won't be able to recover, and that's how he wins. But I'm hoping I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think you know, you made some really solid points in there. First of all, I'm very excited about this fight, man. Exciting. I love DC. I mean, this dude is just like a walking heart. You know what I mean? All heart, man. I mean, he picked up Barnett. Let's not forget what he did to Henderson too. I mean, he like treat these guys like they're children. You know, yep. I mean, my God, personally, he's 5'11". He should be fighting at 185 or 170. I would wonder what he would do down there because he's just so incredible, man. I mean, you know, he beat Johnson, Gustafsson, Silva, Henderson, Mir, Barnett, like you mentioned. But I think I'm going to disagree with you on this piece of it, and that is I do think that Stipe has technical striking. I think the differences here is going to be that piece of it, specifically that Stipe has lateral movement, and he tends to draw back into his right? So that's moving away from the shot. It's moving away from the overhand. It's moving into the hook. But Gustafsson, who is probably the closest style to Stipe, gave DC a hard time, right? He had won, but he won, and it was a split decision. So I think that lateral movement, because he's constantly moving in that direction, that's going to set up his two. I would be surprised if you see, because he is a big heavyweight, man. He's 6'4", and man, this guy's knocked a lot of guys out. You know, I mean, he was as an amateur, he knocked all 5 of his opponents out before he even came into the pros. I think that DC's forward pressure because he tends to follow his opponents, right? That is going to be present a problem because you're drawing. Stipe is going to draw him into a counter two is what I think is going to happen. If DC wanted to win, here's the doctor's prescription here. I think that his key to victory would be to push Stipe back into his right, right? Because as you move somebody to your right, you're moving them and forcing them to pivot off their front foot, which puts them in more of a position so they're more likely to be taken down. And also, it's putting them in a position to land the overhand right. One of the things that DC does is he fights like a tall guy, but he's short, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't he doesn't use like head movement tactically, right? He doesn't. Oh, he's got a beautiful hook, but doesn't finish with defense or use it again, right? He doesn't know how to hook from the other hand like Tyson did, and some of the better guys that were shorter in the division for boxing. So I think his he would need to get it to the ground, but just the fact that Stipe is so big and so strong, I don't know that how he's going to be able to hold him down there. Stipe clearly has a good gas tank, He can go 5 rounds, and I just don't see DC being able to get this one done. As much as it would be awesome to see he did, but again, I'm big fans of both these guys, and I just think that Stipe's technical striking is going to make a difference. I actually see him pushing DC inside of the ring.
And that right there was the doctor's prescription.
What pills you shaking? What pills you have near you?
Nothing.
I better be supplements, man.
Sleeping pills. Those good supplements, baby. Fill the room supplements, baby. It's a shame. It's great that we're seeing this fight, but it's also a shame because I love both these guys, and they're both just super nice. And it's kind of a fight that you don't want to see, but you do. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to see either of them lose. And they've both got great heart. Like Daniel Cormier, amount of times, like you said, he's been rocked and stuff, and he's still, he comes in and still gets the win, still grinds the win. And then you've got Stipe, just super passionate, says, "I'll fight anyone, don't care, I'm the baddest man. Let's go. Let's go, champ." But the thing is, the only thing that annoyed me about Stipe, and you boys might disagree with me, you men might disagree with me, is that he's calling out Anthony Joshua at one point, saying we should get this fight on. And I think Anthony Joshua just would kill him in a boxing match.
I don't think. Yeah, he's not ready for that. No, it's a different game. It's different game. Yep.
So I'm glad we agree on that. And then obviously you've got Daniel Cormier. There were suggestions that, I don't know if you saw the little face that he pulled when Dana White said that he might fight Brock Lesnar if he wins. Daniel Cormier
they're talking about that. Brock could get the winner. That's like a legitimate rumor going around. That's stupid.
Daniel Cormier's face, he goes,
Yeah. Because he wants to fight him. Because he knows he can win that fight. He's a wrestling fan. He respects Brock. He knows that's just another nice little feather in his cap. He knows he can win that fight, and it'll make him a lot of money. That's why he's excited.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think he could beat Brock Lesnar?
Yes. John Jones.
Yes.
It might be John Jones, Brock Lesnar. John Jones is gonna rip that man apart. Brock Lesnar doesn't like to get hit. If he could take you down, he's big and strong and a bully. But if you get back up, he starts to wither away. Like, look at the Cain Velasquez fight. Like, Cain got up on him and he didn't have a plan B. He's not a high IQ guy. And this is from a guy who, I got a Brock Lesnar shirt. I like Brock Lesnar. He's one of my favorite fighters. But he's got one thing, and if he can't beat you with that, he's got nothing else.
UFC 330. John Jones. Brock Lesnar. Steroids.
Hey, fellas, I have 2 minutes left, okay?
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. We'll wrap it up. Paulie, promote yourself now. Go. You got 2 minutes. Go. Fire.
8-man strong.
Oh, well, first of all, I want to give a shout out again. George Young is fighting tomorrow night in Bellator. Tune into Bellator.com. Support his sponsors, 8-man. That would be awesome. Friend me at Facebook. And by the way, I hear Facebook's for old people now, so Jordan told me. Is that the truth?
I'm not on Facebook.
All right, thank you, man. Connect with me on Instagram, Dr. Paulie Gloves, or Twitter, Paulie Gloves. And if you're in the business world, hook up with me at Paul Gavoni, Paulie Gavoni, EDD on LinkedIn. So also one more, I do a lot of writing. So if you're interested in science and mixed martial arts, take a look at Fight Science on Bloody Elbow. And hopefully, by the way, just plant a little seed for Jason and I. We might be having our own little talk show come up in the near future called Legendary Nights. Stay tuned for that. It's going to be fun. I'm not going to say anymore, but we'll see.
Oh, interesting. I'll be definitely tuning into that, and I'll link your links in below if you Skype them over to me. I appreciate you coming on. Jason, your turn.
Just look for me, my writing on Sherdog this week alone for Bellator 201. I have interviews, articles up on Sherdog with Ali Malay McFarlane, the main eventer and flyweight champion of Bellator. Carrie Melendez in her second fight, wife of Gilbert Melendez, very cool. Ed Ruth, one of the Fab Five fighters, two-time NCAA Division I champion. In his sixth fight, he's going to be a right star. That's the guy you're probably going to see is a main eventer or a top guy, 170, maybe in that 170 tournament coming up, the Grand Prix. And with Jordan Young. Hopefully, also, I might have a fifth article from Bellator with Linton Vassell. He's making the move up to heavyweight now. I got to talk to him about that. Hopefully, we'll get that next week or so. And I'm going to have some PFL articles. Got to talk to Eddie Gordon from Law MMA and Herman Torrado. So those will be coming next week and soon. So look for my work on. And also on Sherdog, Paulie Gloves and Jason Burgos story on PRP, plasma-rich placement, plasma-rich treatment, replacement therapy.
Put it out, brother.
So PRP on the PRP related to MMA and how it helps fighters recover and get into fights and make sure they make their fights and recover from injuries in training. We got coach from Phil DeRue, Tim Bruce, Chas Skelly, Herbert Burns. We worked on that together. So look for all my work on Sherdog.com. There you go.
Cheers for coming on, guys, man. I'll talk to you off camera anyways, Jason. And if you need to go, Paulie, that's cool. I'll link all
Peace out, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys.